And welcome back once again. We're talking about the PIB PLC in a back, the programmable industrial controller. And in our previous video, we sort of gave you an overview about the system itself. I wanna dive a little more here so that we know what we're going to be doing when we talked about the software and how this device is programmed. So in this particular case, this controller has a power switch, and most controllers will have either a way to directly connect to the power source, which I do have it, but in this case, it's also controlled by this switch. So this switch controls that. Now, additionally, there is actually 6 inputs there. The first input is a normally closed contact, which is my red button here. The second one input is the green one. You can see the number 1 being the second input being illuminated. The third one, or number 2, is this switch right here. Okay. And then the fourth one is when I press. All right. And there is a number 5 input there that is already made, so that it's constantly closed. All right. So there we have 6 inputs for this controller. We also have 4 outputs here, which again, these outputs are going to be driven by whatever condition we put in the controller. So you can call the first one right there output 0, which is the first input, and then the green one will be output 1, which is the second output. The next one is the yellow, which is output number 2 here in the output indication, but it's actually number 3. And so then we have the fourth one, which is address as output number 3. This idea of labeling the outputs with proper numbers and addresses is going to become pretty important to you, so that you know how to properly label and tag and program all the inputs and outputs, so that the computer can do whatever it is that you're instructing the computer to do. Otherwise, the computer will not know. The concept of labels or addresses or tags is very important in programming controllers. And you do have, no matter what the controller brand, a way to tag, name, address, or label both input and output, so that with those input and output names, addresses, and tags, you can tell the system what you want the system to do based on what conditions are present. And once again, you don't have to worry about wiring anything on this particular one, because the emphasis on this program is to help you learn the programming aspect of the controller. But you do need to have some basic understanding about the controller itself. And so that's what we did here when we explained that each one of these inputs here correspond to an input terminal. Let me back out a little bit here. In my particular case, input 5 is directly wired to the power switch. All right, so input 5 is actually directly wired to the power switch. So notice that input 5 doesn't change no matter what conditions I have here. And the reason being is that's wired to the power switch. Right, the other inputs will change, such as this one. That one will change. This one will change. And even this one will change. This is wired to input 3 and 4, right? So we got 3 and 4, right? 2, and then we got 1, and then we got 0. And so we'll know what to do with this once we get to that point. But once again, this is the Allen Bradley MicroLogix 1000 controller. If you learn this programming language, ladder logic, you'll be in a good position to use that ability to program controllers of this brand, or transfer that knowledge to other brands that you may possibly use as you become a PLC programmer. A very important skill in the 21st century. So thank you. That was another kind of a insight into the idea of addressing labels and tags, so we can understand what we need to do later on. So Dr. Rodriguez with the PIB in a box. See you in a little bit.